Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our webinar for today. My name is Ivory, and I will be your moderator for today's presentation. At the end of the presentation, we will take some questions. You will need to enter them at the question box, but make sure to be detailed and specific just in case the question is coming from something that we go over from the start of the presentation. That way, we'll be able to make sure that we know exactly what you're talking about. Any questions that we can't answer today, we will answer them offline afterwards, or you can submit and track your ticket on the portal at windwardsoftware.com, and support can be able to help you out with your questions. And also, now you have the ability to access past webinar presentations on our website. All the presentations are there, and that is on the website www.windwardsoftware.com/webinar. Today's presentation, we're going to be discussing rental checklist setup and functions. This is a very great topic, and our speaker for today, her name is Annabelle, and she's one of our tenured software specialists, and she's also with the company for almost 6 years now. So let's get started. Take it away, Annabelle.
Thanks, Ivory. Hello, everyone. Today's webinar is about rental checklist setup and function. So the things to be discussed are basic setup of rental state and checklist and how the rental state and checklist affects the rental units once it is enabled. So first thing first is a rental state and checklist. So the rental state and checklist feature enables the functionality of having rental units automatically move to an unavailable state upon rental return, preventing them from being rented out again until they are moved back to the available state by a user. So this feature is only available for rental units, and it's not available for regular serialized items or regular rental inventory items. So this feature could be useful in situations wherein a rental unit must be inspected before renting it again, like damaged, safety checked, etc., and it requires cleaning before it can be rented again, must be serviced before renting again, or a combination of the above. So with the setup, so for us to enable the checklist, we need to go to um, rental checklist feature in system 5. You need to go to setup wizard, rental settings, and then checklist as per this screenshot right here. So when you go to rental settings, there is a checklist option, and there's a box that you need to check, which is use rental checklist. So as per the description below, if using rental checklist, rental units will be immediately set as unavailable for checkout when returned from a rental. The user must manually set the item as available after completing all required checklists before it can be rented again. So we also have in here an available state name. So like if you don't want it to show as unavailable, you can set the name in here. Like let's say for example, maintenance, cleaning, safety check. So once you have enabled the rental checklist and you have entered the name that you want to show, we can then add the list by clicking on the plus. There's a plus button. So once you click on it, it will allow you to enter or like type in the list. And once you have entered the list, you can then add the list items for each list. So I will just show you guys directly. So let me just go to the demo right here. So as what I've mentioned, for it to be enabled, we need to go to setup tools, setup wizard, and rental settings. So while it's loading, so you will go to a rental settings and there is like a checklist. So we need to check this box, use rental checklist in here. So you can change the name. You can either have it cleaning or whatever name that you want. So like, let's say for example, you have it as maintenance. So once you have added the name, we can then add the lists by clicking on this one right here, the new list button. So once you click on it, it will allow you to type in the name. So like, let's say for example, cleaning checklist. So once you have entered the list, you then have the option to list the items inside this particular checklist. So let's say what are the items, and here's like, uh, let's say visual inspection complete. If you do have other items, you can click on the new item again. So like, let's say wipe down. And from here, if you wanted to add another checklist, you just need to click on the new list, and you can add like, let's say repair. And if there is an item under this, you can then just like add. So like, let's say this one, another. So you can actually add as many checklists as you want and as many list items as you want as well. So once this is done, we can then test by creating an invoice. So let's create a rental invoice, and then let's return an item. So let me just find a customer right here, and let's add an item, a rental unit. Okay, so right now it shows available. So let's just select one. Let's just set it to out, and then let's return it. So once you click on return, once you click on the status of uh the the serial or the unit, it actually showed maintenance in there. So like, let's say for example, when you clicked on, if you set this to out again, you will actually get this message, cannot check out items, unable to check out because the item is currently maintenance. So this unit must be moved to available on the unit record before it can be checked out. So it needs to be manually moved to available once the checklist has been completed, and it needs to be done on the unit record. So from here, if you get this message, you want to view the unit now, when you clicked on yes, you will be redirected to the this unit record window, wherein you can see all the checklist. So as you can see right here, if you will click on available, like if you manually click on available, you will get this message right here. All checklist items must be completed for maintenance before this unit can be moved to available. So basically, you need to complete all. Um, so all items in this checklist has been marked as complete. You will not be able to make any changes to this checklist once it is completed. You want to continue, and so if you wanted it to be completed, once it's completed, you can click on yes, and then you proceed with the other checklist. For some reason it's showing twice. And so once everything is complete, so you will actually get this message like, once the checklist is complete, all checklists has have been completed for maintenance stage. So that you want to change this unit to available, you can then click on yes. So in this is now available. So when you clicked on like, let's say, let's check the status or on this rental unit. So when you go right here, I don't see it. Let's just add it back. Okay, so it's now showing as available. So let us let's just set this to out again. I'll just show you guys and then return. And so once you return it, it will show in here as maintenance. So from the item inventory, So let's just go to the item inventory. It will also show an unavailable state. So right here, it says state unavailable one. So and when you hover on it, it will show in there that you need to complete the checklist before you can have this unit to be available for rent again. And like let's say for example, um, you don't want to complete a checklist and wanted to bypass it. It is possible by turning on the supervisor override, but you still need to do it from the unit record. So let me go it from here. So if we edit this, so let's say because when you go to available, you will get this message, right? So like let's say for example, you wanted to bypass the checklists. You wanted to set it to available without completing the checklist, you can do so by turning on the supervisor override. So once it's turned on, when you click on available, you will get this message: all checklists must be completed. Do you want to force the unit to the specified state? When you clicked on yes, it will then the unit will be changed to available. And once it has been changed to available, it will then show under the item inventory that it is now available, and then the state unavailable is now 0. And that should be all for my presentation. But before we proceed with the question and answer, though, I would just like to inform you guys that we have resources available, which includes the help center wherein all available resources are listed, and it can be accessed through windwardsoftware.com/help. And we also have a customer care portal wherein you can search our knowledge base and you can submit and track support tickets, and you can access it through support.windwardsoftware.com. We also have Windward Learning Academy, wherein you can spin up new employees and you can have lesson-based topics, and you can access it through academy.windwardoncloud.com. Other than that, we also have Windward Professional Services. So if you wanted like an in-depth discussion about certain topics, you can get guidance from one of our professional services specialists. And you can do so by accessing windwardsoftware.com/professional services, or you can contact your account manager for a code or call at 1-800-663-5750. And for emergency support, the following situations qualify for emergency support. So if you do have issues along the following: entire system down, unable to take payment, cannot log in into System 5, or recovering from a power outage, you can submit an emergency ticket at windwardsoftware.com/emergency. And the last one is we have webinar archives. So you can access onewordsoftware.com/webinars, wherein you can sign up for future webinars, or you can also view the previously recorded events. All right, so do you guys have any questions?
Thank you so much, Annabelle. That was a great presentation. Okay, so for our first question, we have here from Cindy Ryder. She says, in the setup wizard checklist, what is the point of the notes?
Okay. The note, let me just take a look right here. Okay, well, I haven't checked that. Well, usually, let me check. I believe it is just a note on the your checklist though. But let me just verify that though, and then I will just get back to you.
Okay, so Cindy, Annabelle will take a look at it and we'll get back to you. And then for the second question, we have here from Patricia. She asks the checklist that is made under the setup, is that for all the items under rental, or can we specify one checklist for one product type and a different one for a different product?
This is actually a global setting, so this is applicable to all.
Okay, so so that is a global settings, which is well, the checklist for rental, that is global settings for all rental items, basically.
Yeah. That's right.
And another question here from Alex Perry, and the question is there a way to duplicate checklists to multiple items without typing it? Oh, and so instead of, then how do we differentiate different kinds of checklists?
Um, I don't think there is an option to clone, because the only option right here is to uh move up and down and then add new list though, and when you right click on it, it's just move up, move down. So apparently we need to manually type in the checklist.
Okay, so okay, Cindy says when I add the description to my checklist, it doesn't save.
Like the description, like is that under the list items?
Yeah, I think under that, I think that's what she was trying to say. But yeah, I Cindy can answer that one.
Well, I think we need to take a look at that because I don't once you add the description, right? Like every list, the description usually is your list item. So once you add it, it will be automatically saved. So there could be something wrong if it's not saved.
It's either a version issue or
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
port, and have that take a look at it. So we why does the description when you add in doesn't save at all? Also,
Yeah.
for questions from Patricia, so if one checklist does not apply to an item, do you use supervisor override?
Yeah, that could be one of the option because you can bypass the checklist through supervisor override. So like let's say uh, the that rental unit doesn't it doesn't include the checklist, and since all the return rental units will be changed to like automatically changed to unavailable, so you can just bypass through the supervisor override and just manually change it to available.
Yep, that's it. And any more questions, guys? Oh, there's a follow-up questions from Alex. He says, so every item will see all checklists?
Yes, all the rental units, yes, will show like when you go to the because it will show on the rental unit, right? So it will all the checklists will show in there. Because that's what
Basically,
affiliate.
Alex.
Yeah. So when you go to the unit, so all the rental units will show those checklists and their rentals. So all the checklists will show in there. So for all rental units. Um, do you have um can you hear me, guys? Okay.
Yes, I can.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me, Annabelle?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
Okay. I'm sorry. Had a problem with my computer right now. I think it's back, but let me see if I can still see a few questions. Um, okay. So there's question from Tim Firster. He says, "Are mechanics able to make notes when completing checklists?"
Like manually add notes. Let me just take a look. I don't think we have the option to add, but let's just make sure. Well, uh, yeah, there seems to be no option to add a note in here. Basically, this function is just completed, uh, but from this side of here, you cannot enter any more information though, so you cannot add a note in here.
Okay, so yes, yeah, Tim, for the notes, you can only add the notes on the setup, but on the um
When
rental or in the unit itself, once it reaches the checklist, you can no longer add some notes in there. Question from Alex. We have a lot of different types of rental items, so having this be a global feature, I'm not sure we would be able to implement it.
so you have a lot of rental units.
Yeah, he has a lot of rental items.
This one is only available on rental units, so it's not available on like regular serialized items or like rental inventory without like a when if it's not a unit, then it's this is not the checklist is not available. So this is only available for units.
Okay, so Alex has a question about, is this feature still under development, or is this global feature all that is being developed?
Um, no, this is not being so this is how it has been set up though. So it's not under development. So this feature has been developed for rental units, and it doesn't apply to regular inventory items like you have rental items wherein you don't it's not a unit, so the checklist doesn't apply to that.
I hope that answers your questions, guys, but we're still open for more questions. Okay, any more questions? Okay, while waiting for a few, if you still have one, if you still have more questions, I'd like to just take this opportunity to invite you all on our upcoming webinar on June 29th. That is 2 weeks from now. The webinar is about jobs and projects, so if you're interested, you can still register on that schedule. That would be on June 29th at the same time, 1 p.m. Pacific time. So I hope to see you guys there as well on the upcoming webinars. And we still have more for the next months, so I hope you can be able to join us as well. Yeah, it looks like we don't have any more questions, Annabelle. And again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Um, we surely I'm happy to that you're able to join us today, and hopefully we can be able to see you as well on the upcoming webinar in the next few weeks. And yeah, thank you so much again, and you have a wonderful evening. Bye, guys.